One of the most persistent struggles for people who work or study, do you know what it is? It's that we almost completely forget everything we've learned, absorbed, or taken in. We read a book and forget it all. We have a meeting with the boss. Walk out of the room and forget nearly everything except for the stuff tied to our survival or career. We watch a movie and a few months later we barely remember it, maybe just the basic plot. We watch videos or lessons on YouTube packed with knowledge and then forget them too. It gets to the point where many of us feel discouraged about learning. Why bother studying if we're just going to forget everything? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to completely overcome that problem. How can we remember things vividly and retain what we've learned for the long haul? Let's dive into this video, folks. This is based on my own experience, and I'm sharing it with you. I've never recommended anything I haven't personally tried. Everything I'm about to share, I've done myself. Here I'll give you 3 steps to help you remember things deeply and apply them in your life. Whether it's an article, a book, you've read a movie, you've watched a YouTube lecture, an audiobook, or a conversation with a mentor to gain experience, you can remember it all vividly if you use these methods. Let's jump into the first part right now, okay? The first part starts with a very simple idea. Begin learning or choosing what you want to remember based on one core principle. Pick something you enjoy. It might sound funny, but it's true. We naturally remember things for a long time when we're interested in them. You need to be excited to learn, folks. No matter how much you try to force your brain, it'll forget if it's not engaged. You have to accept this truth: we always remember what excites us, and we're likely to forget things we feel indifferent about. When it comes to learning or remembering something for the long term, start with what you love. It could be any field in the world, even things some people might consider frivolous like gaming or soccer. If you enjoy something and believe it's wholesome, not diving into anything negative, then choose that as your starting point for learning. I'm serious about this, you guys. Life is full of variety. Besides economics, philosophy, or classic literature, there are tons of other fascinating and valuable things out there. Everyone is born with their own interests, their own joys, their own paths of exploration. No one has the right to force you otherwise. If you love travel, then dive into travel. Study travel. Listen to audiobooks about travel. Read books about travel. Read articles about travel. Watch movies about travel. Watch travel documentaries. Meet with tour guides. And, of course, go travel. It's your passion, you're right. If you love gaming, then read articles about games. That's the core interest that'll help you remember. One quick note, step 1 I'll repeat, is to start absorbing information based on what you love. Some people might say, if I'm obsessed with gaming and keep reading about video games, won't I get addicted and struggle to pull myself away? To that I'd say anyone who thinks that has never truly studied or experienced the joy that knowledge brings. You have to understand that knowledge and learning are never static. They're always evolving. For example, when you start reading about gaming, at first you might just read about how to play. As long as you stick to wholesome, thoughtful content, you'll never go astray. You start with game guides, and as you get more into it, you might think, this character I'm playing looks kind of lame. I wish I could tweak it, make it taller or slimmer to look cooler. Or maybe this character's face looks too fierce. I want to redesign it to look friendlier. From there, you follow that curiosity. You start researching based on your interest, and before you know it, you're reading about game character design or game programming. Who knows? Maybe by chance or luck, you end up working in game development. How can you know where knowledge will take you if you don't get up and start exploring little by little? Let me give you an example of a sports article I read that profoundly impacted me. And I even applied it to my business with great results. When you read something you love, you absorb it eagerly. Now let's move to part 2, which is probably the easiest part of this method. Once you've found the type of information you're excited about, say you love soccer, you'll naturally watch matches. Follow leagues, right? You'll read soccer news. Admire players like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane, or whoever you're into. You'll read articles about them. When it's something you love reading about, it feels fun. Even if you think reading books puts you to sleep, I promise you, when you read about what you're passionate about, you'll stay wide awake. That's always the case. That's why people never get sleepy reading gossip magazines. I'm not encouraging you to read tabloids. I actually hate them because of the negativity they spread. I'm just using them as an example, so don't misunderstand me. Tabloids are clever because they use language celebrities and topics that everyone knows. A story about an actor caught in a scandal. People know the actor. They're curious and they're hooked. How could they fall asleep? The same goes for your interests. If you're crazy about soccer, reading soccer news is hard to snooze through, especially in-depth analyses or breaking news. So, step 2 is simple advice. Whatever you're into, start reading about it, start watching it. For me, I love business. I've watched almost every major business mentor out there. At least the most famous ones on media I can confidently say I've checked out. So, have you got the first 2 steps? Step 1, choose to learn about what you love. Step 2, start learning. Read books, articles, or if you're too lazy to read, watch movies or documentaries about your favorite topic. Now let's move to step 3, the key step that'll lock the knowledge you've learned into your brain. I guarantee you won't forget it even after 3 or 5 years. Here we go with step 3. After you've identified what you love, found topics you're excited about, and started exploring them through reading or watching. Here's step 3. In psychology, this is called recall, meaning to retrieve or remember. Of all the memory techniques, recall is the simplest and most effective way to naturally retain knowledge. Its mechanism is straightforward. After experiencing something, take time to think back on it. I'll guide you on how to do this, but let me explain a bit more so you can appreciate how powerful recall is. Have you noticed that painful memories are hard to forget? Do you know why? Because the person who experienced that pain constantly revisits it, tormenting themselves, thinking about it over and over. That's why some people never get over a breakup their entire lives. On the flip side, joyful moments often fade quickly because people don't take time to revisit them. That's a psychological trick, so listen up. People who go through a breakup or a loss can't move on because they dwell on it every day, recalling it over and over year after year for a decade, until they die carrying that pain with them. So, how do we apply recall to learning and remembering what we study? Picture this: you read an article, watch a movie, or read a chapter of a book. After you're done, take time. Here's where it gets intense to ask yourself one single question in what I just learned. What part did I find the most exciting or enjoyable? I suggest following a 50-50 rule. For example, if you have an hour to read a book, split that time evenly, 30 minutes for reading and 30 minutes for thinking about that question. What in that book or chapter did I find most exciting or enjoyable? Think about it in your head and answer it. Or when you watch this video, it's 15 minutes long after you're done, spend another 15 minutes asking yourself in this lecture, what part did I find most exciting or enjoyable? Take the time to ask and don't be lazy about thinking. As you ask yourself this question, your brain starts working and it starts remembering deeply because it's fueled by a powerful stimulant, your excitement and interest. Recall becomes torture if you force your brain to remember something you're not interested in. But if it's something you're thrilled about, it's a gift to your brain. Ask yourself in that movie, what scene, detail, or moment did I find most exciting or enjoyable? Then think about it. If you watch a 90-minute movie and spend another 90 minutes reflecting, I'm telling you, try it. You'll remember every detail and the knowledge will flood your mind. You'll feel for the first time like you're in control of the information, like you've truly learned and understood something. You have to experience that feeling to get what I'm talking about. Please try it, folks. That's what I desperately want for you. You're living in a world where at some point you'll feel life is unfair, you'll feel oppressed, small, weak, poor, or even humiliated. But remember my words, we can change those things by making an effort starting today, right now. Slowly we'll grow, we'll understand more, and we'll earn more. Right now, you might not have enough money to cover your expenses. Why? If you dig deeper, it's because you don't know how to make money. That's a limit of your knowledge. You need to learn more, but learning and letting it slip away is pointless, right? Learning has to stick, and it has to be paired with action. So try this method. If you keep hesitating, your life will stay stuck going nowhere. I have a dream. If this video gets 10,000 views and just 500 people apply this method, I'd be overjoyed. Because I'd have helped hundreds of people change their lives, even if they don't know me and I don't know them. That's something to celebrate. Keep at it. Okay. Read books, watch movies, seek out positive sources of information. After you're done, spend the same amount of time you spent reading or watching to ask yourself, in what I just learned, what part did I find most exciting or enjoyable? Let me give you an example of an article I read a long time ago, Zinedine Zidane chosen by history. Some people might think it's just a fluff piece for entertainment. What's the point? But I didn't see it that way. First step 1, I love sports. Second step 2, I read it from start to finish in about 10 minutes. Then I spent another 10 minutes reflecting what in this article did I find most exciting or enjoyable. There was one part that stood out. In the soccer world, Zidane is one of the top coaches globally. Zidane is like the teacher and the players are his students. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the world's most famous and talented players, is a tough student. Stars like Ronaldo often don't respect a new coach, especially one with less experience. But Zidane had a brilliant approach. Instead of forcing Ronaldo to follow orders, he challenged Ronaldo to a free kick contest to see who'd win. Ronaldo, being super competitive, took the bait immediately. He lost badly. From that defeat, Ronaldo realized this guy's no joke. That moment won Zidane Ronaldo's loyalty, and Ronaldo became fiercely dedicated to his coach. This might seem like just a sports story, but when I recalled it, I applied it to my business. I told myself I need to work hard at everything I do. Even if it's just delivering packages, I have to do it seriously and professionally. Why? So that when new employees join, I can lead by example and guide them. That article was from 2016, but it's still one of my favorites. I'll never forget that lesson. It was only about 1,000 words, 3 or 4 pages in a standard book. Imagine reading a 300-page book. Every 3 pages, you could learn something new. Pause every few pages to think, what in this part did I find most exciting or enjoyable? You'll lock that knowledge into your memory. You can even write down what you loved on a piece of paper or in a notebook. A 300-page book could give you 100 fascinating insights you'll never forget. That's incredible, folks. When you read and elevate yourself instead of forgetting everything and getting discouraged, follow my method. 3 simple steps. First, choose to learn about what you love. Second, once you've found what you love, start learning. Read, watch. Third, after you're done, spend time thinking about one question, what I just learned. What part did I find most exciting or enjoyable? Then write down your answer. It doesn't need to be much. Sometimes just 1 or 2 sentences per few pages that you found exciting is enough. That way you won't forget even after 3 or 5 years. Some books are so good that 6 months or a year later you can reread them. Follow the same steps again, and you might not forget that knowledge for 10 years. Trust me, you'll become a different person. One last time, you might not yet imagine the joy of living with that kind of knowledge. You might not feel fulfilled until you've mastered a book. So take my advice and do it. Your life will change in positive ways you can't even predict. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video.